Greetings, folks. I'm Larry Buell, founder of Earthlands and the University of the Wild. And I'm here today to invite you into this amazing adventure. We're here to talk about how we draw people into a community of learning, living, and action. And as you know, in any community, you need four things. You need people, you need a vision, and you need a place, and then you need a plan. Well, that's what we're going to show you on this small video. We have a plan to bring people into this amazing project. So folks, we are now along the Swift River. It's in Petersham, Massachusetts, and this is where the curriculum of the University of the Wild takes place. This is where we come to gather. It's in the Swift River Valley at Browns Pond here in central New England. So I'm here today to remind us all that if you talk about the wild, then you must really be with the forest and the land and the waters and the stones and the wildlife. And that's what the University of the Wild is essence. We are the biomimicry. We want to learn from nature herself. And that's why we've come here. But not only are we going to look at the forest it is today, but we also look at the past. So part of our curriculum is to look at the land use over the last, say, 300 or 10,000 years. That's part of living. And we believe that if you do not know where you are, you may not know who you are. And that's part of why we're here. And so part of, other than we know we have a curriculum in place, now we need the people here. And that's why we're introducing a couple of people who have committed their life and their work to the University of the Wild and the community that we're building around that called WECHI, the Wild Earth Household and Communities.
Ayate Washita Ish. I am Amaru Polaris L, aka Brother NorthStar, the Medicine Walker, aka Gregory Dean Smith, and my mission is called One People, One Earth. I've been on this mission for over 25 years. It's taken me to 69 countries, and everywhere I've gone, I've always come to nature. This is where we're trying to get back to. This is the Garden of Eden. There's so much information. I am a tree hugger, and there's so much information when you hug a tree or you come out here and you breathe this air and you come down to the water. Whatever your stresses are, it gets relieved. We all have to come back to nature. And so I am here because I envision this. I have been walking toward this all my life. And it's what I call a divine appointment. I'm wanted here, and I want to be here. There's somebody, I always go toward who's looking, I'm looking for who's looking for me. I want who wants me. I'm related to who's related to me. And this place, and what we're trying to do here is live in harmony with the earth, get our bodies back in harmony, and get the earth back in harmony. And that is one people, one earth. What's not good for the planet is not good for the people. What's not good for the people is not good for the planet. So I say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
So my name is Katya Asa. I'm an artist. I do various things. At the moment my focus is really being gardens. And my vision for this world and what my life work is I'm seeing myself as a portal opener to help people remember the ancient connection to the ancient vast universe. So one part of doing is just through song, but it's with everything I do. It's through my art, through my videos of following water, it's through ceremony, and my life is really focused on the elementals. The earth, air, fire, and water, or there's different various modalities that I use that also use wood and mineral and nature. So for me, it's really about relationship, that we bring ourselves back to co-create with nature. Rather than us protecting from nature, we're here actively engaged in nature. And the garden has been such a wonderful model, because I feel that everything we need to learn, we can actually get directly from the elements and from the gardens, and just observing nature. I've been working with water, have followed water through the about 7 seasons of winter, and have made full-length videos out of it, and just observing water and what it's teaching us, and learning some profound messages from it, that basically behind everything lies love, and water is such an amazing demonstrator of that. I see that really as the most clear expression of divinity teaching us. And so is the garden, and so all the interactions. So it's all about relationship. It's very much about food, and our relationship to food, relationship to the beings I eat story. And I also am aware, for me to fully participate in this creation in the process of creation, that I would like to write the book, We Eat to Make Fertile Soil. And it's like when you really listen, that all the beings here are all eating in order to make soil, so that the earth can actually draw its information from it and adjust and fine-tune, so it can give out again and continuously. That's the other part of the teaching, that is the fundamental thing of everything, that all that comes from source has to return to source. And so it's really about reciprocity. So we need to feed the garden that feeds us. I see body, food, and soil as the Holy Trinity. And so we need to feed the soil that feeds the beings that feed me, and returning it back to the soil. And so the soil has story. It has the ashes of my dad in there. And so this is a little bit of the background. And so I found it very important to... The universe of the wild is a beautiful concept, because we really need to bring people back to that fundamental thing of how the earth has always been our teacher, and find our way back to our wholeness through the earth. And we're now finding out through the microbiome that how important it is that we are nature, that everything that we're doing, it constantly points us back to nature. And it's like when we have the sacred relationship, climate change will automatically fall away. Because once we understand that this world is made of love, we will respond very differently to the beings that continuously nourish me and make up this world. And for me, it's really important to learn the land on which you live on which you live, so that we really, it's like abundance comes from knowing the earth. And it is the, I think it basically says everything. It's like that how I guide myself and feel secure in this world, and can participate in this world and make it whole again. So
So the curriculum of the University of Wild is the land and the culture that's been on the land. So it's not just the natural history of the trees, it's also the structures that are here. I'm sitting in front of the underground chambers. This is an 11,000-year-old chamber that was created by the Nipmunks. It was designed as an equinox site, which means that on the 21st of March and June, the sun sets and goes right into this cave. And this was also a vision quest site, a rite of passage for the young Nipmunks, both the young girls and the young boys, because this is matriarchal land. So we will be studying this, and part of our partners in this whole study will be the Nipmunks. The Nipmunks are the Algonquian nation who lived on this land for approximately 11,000 years. So this is exciting, and we will be learning more about these underground chambers and finding the sacred landscape, because we are all connected to this sacred landscape. What you just said.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting thing. This is a prayer flag that's right here. And this was placed here in 2012 when the Mohawks and the Nipmunks had to heal the bloodshed that happened here during the French and Indian War. But what I didn't realize that and this is a sample, this is not the original one, when that prayer flag drops to the ground, the prayers will have been answered. What I do know now is that the woman who came here to help make this project, she came 2 weeks before I had noticed. I mean, she came 2 weeks after I noticed that this prayer flag had dropped to the ground. I mean, that is that a synchronicity or a coincidence? We know what that is. So folks, we have now looked at the vision, we see the land, and we've talked with the people. Now, where are we going to do all this? Well, one of the places we're doing it is called the Gaias Meadow, which is behind me. And this is the home base of the University of the Wild. This is the place where people will come. It's a sacred place. It will be where we'll be teaching some of the best concepts of how to live lightly on the planet. And it's called Gaias Meadow. And Gaias Meadow is an unowned place that's owned by all people. So there's about 1.11 acres of land that it has sovereignty to it. There'll be no buildings on it. It'll be a place for people to come and to be in sacred circle, to do teaching, to wise teachings. One of our first instructors here was Brother NorthStar last summer, who came here, and we had a circle around him sharing his work around his pilgrimage around the world. So it's exciting to show you what is becoming. And we have plans for a lot of facilities here. They will be gently and green built, but we will show you, and I will show you our community center, some of our tiny homes, and some of our places that we will work, because we also must take care of creature comforts, and we can do that with a less ecological footprint. We don't want the 25 acres that most Americans have as their ecological footprint. We want to get it down to 1.5 acres, say. So that's the work that we're doing. So we're standing in front of the yurt. It's a 24-foot Pacific yurt that we have used as our center housing, you might say. So this is where, if it's raining or snowing, just beyond here is the land of the Nipmunks. They are building their center. We are right here at the Gaias Meadow, and then just beyond us is the Nipmunk Center. And the Nipmunk Center is going to look, this is the architect's drawing of a center that's only 200 yards from where we're standing right now. And this is where the Nipmunk elders will come to teach the wisdom teachings of the land and of the culture to their young people and to all people. So this is a very exciting aspect of which will grow as we continue to gather people to the center. I want to just take you into the yurt to show you the type of place that we center in. Because this is where you can say, and we say, if you want to come and live here the rest of your life, we have to consent on it. But if you come here for 1 day, we ask for 3 hours of labor for your activism or for helping us here at Earthlands, like to split wood or work on the trails, or help plant cabbage. Who knows? So we're now in this 24-foot Pacific Yort, which is a very important place to come. So as you can see here, we have resources, we have books, we have artifacts, like artifacts that came from the land 100 years ago. And we have maps of this area. We have a map of the original Nichawag land, which is where the Nipmunks were. We have a stargazing telescope. We have a wood stove. And we have a place for people to sleep and to meditate, to be in presence. So this is a beautiful space that serves us to come, and because we need places where people can sit together, talk about the world, talk about philosophy, and to be in circle. We now, with what's happened in the last 3 years, we have become disconnected. So part of the intention of the University of Wild and the Weechee communities is to draw people together. So it is a great joy to be able to show you our land and our vision, because right now we are calling people to come to our circles, online or in person. And you will hear more about this as we move forward. So we give thanks. And we're going to now go to our administration, our office complex, a summer kitchen over here, which will have a wood stove, and people who live here, there'll be a greenhouse attached to it, but this will start to show how we can grow food and things like this. So that will be right here.
Visionary.
Well,
Great vision.
takes a vision. Yeah. A place where you can come. We have a beautiful dinner on Thursday night. We have people coming to talk and communicate. It's so interesting. The town of Petersham has been welcomed some tremendous movers and shakers of the world. A couple. One is the designer of the Appalachian Mountain Trail from Georgia to Maine. Did his study here. He was the first forestry student in Petersham, Massachusetts in 1921. That was Benton McKay. The second one is Bob Marshall. Bob Marshall was his graduate in 1925, and he got his master's at Harvard Forest in Petersham. And he went on to found the Wilderness Society, which actually is the Magna Carta of wilderness preservation. And he was in here, and as I did my research of my grandfather, who came here to Petersham in 1917, I found a quote by Bob Marshall, this very famous person, who said, "Buell said something today that you could not say in church," and meaning that he was very aware. And I'm writing an essay. I'm taking the role of my grandfather, Charles Buell, who sees this young preservationist, and Buell says to him, cutting of trees is not your vision. You need to go out and help the world understand how to protect the wilderness rather than cut it. And it's a beautiful concept. The other thing that Brother NorthStar did, which was really beautiful for us, my grandson of 21 years old, who just turned 21, came here for 3 days to do a vision quest. And the day he went out, at 10 o'clock, we met at the yurt at University of Wild, and I had 4 elders talk with my grandson, and one was NorthStar. And in the tradition, indigenous tradition, the grandfather, the grandmother, the grandfather, or even the parents cannot be in that circle. So I walked away and let these men hold forth with Nicholas. So I came back in, and what I heard them all say while they were there to talk with Nicholas, they learned something about themselves and their own process. Because remember, every single one of us goes through some form of rites of passage every single day, and every time we wake up, we do that. That's what I've honored about Brother NorthStar. Everything we do is done in a sacred and a ceremonial way. And sometimes we fall off of doing that. On a Bridges for Peace, because we were trying to work better with the Russians. And remember, in 1991, I went there. I went there as a guided, and it was the what they call the Second Revolution, which means that that's when the old Russia, with Gorbachev and others, became what we know today. And I went. I had a weekend pass. I stayed for 4 months, and I spent most of my time in Siberia. And I didn't know the language, but I was able to talk. I went to the university's English departments and got what they call Moscow hippies to guide me on all that I did. Siberia has 11 time zones. Remember, America has 3 time zones. 11 time zones. I mean, my God, just think what that is. So folks, we've looked at a lot of the dimensions of the universal wild and the Wichi. So now you have to have a place this is all put together. And this little office here is where we do that. This is what we call the office complex. Brother NorthStar will be staying part of his time here. But this is the place where we have internet and we can put our world view out to the world. And I just wanted you to see that we have the wild, but we also have some conventional things that we need in order to do our work. So we give thanks for being on this journey.
Want to thank you for hanging with us on this journey in the University of the Wild. When we say the University of the Wild, you must understand that we're talking about nature. We're talking about ourselves. We're talking about who you are. And we're talking about Mother, going back into the bosom of the earth, going back to our natural ways. If this is you, if this is what you want, if this is what you're looking for, this is who we're looking for. People who are earnest and sincere about going back to our natural way of living. Heaven on earth is us. That's who we are. We're supposed to bring that. And that's what this is about. So I want to thank Dr. Larry Buell for his wild scope vision of pulling this all together and inviting me to be a part of that as a mentor and advisor, and really honoring who I am and my body of work over the years. One People, One Earth. One People, One Earth and the University of the Wild are synonymous. Same vibration, same thing. You may call it something else that's talking about going back to the mother. Matter of fact, I wrote a play called Chatting with the Mother, in which you went back into the mother, So all of this is coming into fruition for me for many, many, many years of work. And Dr. Buell has observed my work. He's invited me here on several occasions over the past 25 years that I've known him. And but this time, I'm looking for a place that I can go back. I didn't ask him. I didn't ask anybody. I'm looking for a place where I could just, set up a big, huge Moroccan tent and create my own bathroom and all that stuff. Some land, somebody that'll let me live on some land. And then what do I get out of the blue? I get a call from Dr. Buell to come and join the University of the Wild and come be on his land and grace this beautiful land with the vortexes that I've been to, the energy that I carry within me from all over the planet is now the gift that I have to offer to this land. And so with that, I am Brother NorthStar, the Medicine Walker. Again, the ambassador and the chief for United Washita Day Dug Them Onion Nation. And this is my life. Nature. Just look around. This is what you want. This is what we want. You are who we want. And with that, I will say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. We create That's what Ashe means. We create.
A couple of weeks ago, we had a called the Petersham Jam, and people go in and they register to do something. And I said, I'm the Petersham storyteller, and I could tell you all about these stories, but I'm not. I'm going to bring you a story. I'm bringing you Brother NorthStar, the medicine walker. And he told a story. He didn't go through all my connected pieces, and he gave us a story that touched our very, very deep souls. It was so beautiful. So he's already had his introductions, and now we're bringing him to the Unitarian Church on Sunday afternoon, on the 23rd of October 2022. 2 11s. 11-11.
11.
So,
I hadn't thought of it that way.
yeah, and we do give great thanks. My intention is to live in a land of no secrets. That means that we can be vulnerable, and we can be transparent, and we can be open. So I do know every part of my cell in my body knows that we are on the right track here. When I was given the vision for the University of the Wild and Earthlings back in March of 1964, I knew that this was my life work. And so it's interesting that when I became desperate and not knowing that this vision would ever happen, I was given a prophecy that I was to plant the I Ching coin in the north side of the medicine circle, and they would come. And I started to trust that and trust it and trust it. And so eventually, within 3 months, there were 17 people living on this land. And I believe we're at a crossroads like that right now, as Brother NorthStar is one of those who was called. And he couldn't have come 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Everything had to be in concert. And if you'll notice, I now am wearing 2 I Ching coins. One is a golden gossamer thread. The other is the original one. So I am not ready to take the gold one off until I have done work that I am truly committed to this vision. I have some personal work to do with Katja, with my daughters, and others.
Yeah.
So my tears are of joy. My tears are of joy, and I give thanks. Yeah.
Well, the Petersham Jam was my offering, or my introduction to the community, my first outing in the community. And what I wanted to hit him with was know thyself. And of course, know thyself is a winner everywhere, because the story that I tell you is about you. And people like to hear about themselves and what their potentials are. And so know thyself. And I'm standing there with my Ankh on, the Ankh of life, who's a representative of life, and know thyself. So that's my first outing. And so now this one coming up is, I don't know, I like to think of it as a welcoming of a modern day sojourner truth, coming to settle here. Just like Northampton and Florence welcome, Sojourner Truth. I'm thinking that this is similar to that. And so we don't know. We have this thing that we're going on. We call it 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. We're taking it like that, and we do check-ins along that line, because what seems perfect in the beginning, it can go awry, somewhere down the line, so there's this big click that the universe can hear throughout, but then things happen, things change, and the click, it unclicks, and then we got to figure out why it unclicks. See if we can click it back, and if we can't click it back, then, we try to move on in a divine way, always in a good way, always in a loving and peaceful way. But I doubt very seriously that big click that went throughout the universe is going to unclick, because it snapped into place too loud, and it's still echoing throughout the heavens right now as we speak. It's just ringing throughout the heavens, this particular click.
Okay, folks, so you can't make this stuff up. This is for real. And I, too, want to thank you for witnessing what we're doing here, because This has been such a gift to me. And to have Brother NorthStar, to have Katya Esser, and the other people who are coming into this circle is a great manifestation and a dream come true. So for me, to have walked this land and to feel that now, while I've known this land like the back of my hand, now it is being shared. And that's part of what we're doing. We're asking people to come to our circles, to come and be living by this vision, because we now know that we can live, learn, and act in connection and harmony with the earth and all life. And for me, I just give such gratitude that people can recognize all that has been coming to me through my lived experience, through my study, can now be shared. And I leave this circle to go back to my writing studio because I'm writing a book called The University of the Wild, The Vision, the Practice, the Promise, a new roadmap of living, learning, and acting for the earth and all life. So with that, I give great thanks. And I give thanks to my new brother, my old brother, coming here.
Listen, one more thought. And this goes out to people who see the dream, want to be a part of it, but life is just not ready. You know, they're bogged down with debts and bills and, you know, family, and they just can't get away. We can use friends of the University of the Wild. Exactly. We can use people to come to our gatherings and just be a part of the circles, come learn, you know, start massaging your way, start making your way slowly to this. So from wherever you're at, you don't have to be like ready to go right now, but from wherever you're at in your life, you can still participate with this and be around it. And you know what? Eventually, you'll be here.
Exactly.